Hi, everyone. So I'm finally back with a quick conversation about, interesting. I don't know what I'm going to name this actually. It's really about life lessons that come from people, also about following your intuition, mainly about the certain types of repetitive experiences that we can encounter in our lives that can teach us a lot. And what I mean by this is this particular video is about people that show up in your life repetitive. The same people show up to teach you something. And I don't mean the same exact person in the same exact physical body. I mean the same exact energetic signature, similar situations, if not eerily identical situations. So sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation where you go, wait a minute, I've seen this before, or I've been there before. And that is your sign. It's your sign to really evaluate what's going on. Why is this happening? This is wildly similar. This is the same person that's showing up, and the universe has given me an opportunity to react differently to. And this applies mainly to situations where we felt that we missed out or we made mistakes. We got screwed over, for lack of a better term. Something didn't work. We got ourselves into a very iffy situation, right? And we said yes when we shouldn't have. Or our intuition, we didn't really exercise our intuition too well. And so that's what I mean, where the universe throws you a very similar person and an incredibly identical situation. And now the blessing in that, and that's why this is an opportunity and we should all be grateful for it, is because now you have an opportunity to act or react differently. You have an opportunity to take control of your own self and act wisely this time around. And also, you have an opportunity to learn that lesson, finally learn it. But beyond finally learning it, it's you putting it into practice. I believe that's why the universe brings the same people around, is because there's a difference between learning a lesson and reflecting back at your life, at 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're like, whoa, sometimes these cycles will appear. I find it quite interesting. I think the full moon brings that out. There's a lot of processing that happens. The new moon, it's these like peaks and valleys of our lives, right? But there's a difference. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. There is a difference between reflecting and saying, I've learned that lesson, right? That was foolish. Or that was messed up, what happened to me. And it happened, I didn't react. Whether it's whatever you want to apply it for. I didn't defend myself well enough. I didn't stand up for myself. I believed their lies. I got, squeezed into or dragged into a situation that wasn't for my best interest, or, whatever that may be for you. There's a difference between reflecting back and saying, I learned that lesson, and actually facing it again. And so this is what this discussion is about. So is it a test? Absolutely. Is it about the lessons that we should have learned, that we already learned? Absolutely. So I do believe the universe hands you that test, and it can hand you that test more than once. Now, I do want to warn or maybe talk about a little bit about facing this person again, right? So let's say you're in that same situation, you're in a very strangely similar conundrum, or same person. They can be in the same age group or same whatever it might be, same exact environment. They're eerily similar is what I'm saying. There is a huge caveat here I want to make everyone aware of, is be mindful of someone who believes their own lies. So basically, they bought their own BS, right? And they're selling it to you now. So it's very hard to tell the difference between truth and lie when someone actually believes their own lies. They're convinced, and they're also very convincing. So that's where your intuition comes in, but more so than that, it's that voice in the back of your head, or it's that experience. It's that subconscious, this red flag that only your experience can produce for you. Because intuition is one thing, but experience, as well as logic, as well as skepticism, goes a very long way. And they should work in tandem. I believe they need to work together to be able to tell truth from lie, to be able to tell what actually serves you and what doesn't, what's good for you and what's not. They're all together. It's not just one thing. But on that, maybe on a different video, I'll talk more about that. So now that you have actually lived through this, right? With age comes experience. And there's certain peaks in your life, certain archetypes you're going through, or, just rites of passage, right? We all are a teenager once. That's an archetype, that's a rite of passage. When you get to a certain age, same thing happens, I believe, where you can differentiate between your new self and your old self. And where there's a space, now there's a space. Now there's this ability that gets created. You're here and you were here. And now you have that ability to parent yourself. You have grown, and when that space has been created, you can now parent the old you, or maybe those old patterns that are remnant from you. You can now say, no, that's not gonna happen, or that's not good for me. Or now I can tell what's going on, right? You can tell the truth based on not only your past experiences, but also by using your intuition. So when someone, back to the lying and the, lie truth, when this new person comes in, and it's also just an embodiment of an old person, right? That's what they are. They can be very convincing, and you can be tempted to believe them again. And so what I really believe we should all do, or be mindful of, and I urge you to be mindful of, is patterns. If you're in this situation, if you're in this group of people that may have encountered, this new person that's literally the old person coming back, you already know the patterns. You've heard their words, and they're eerily similar. The situation, I cannot put more emphasis on this, is going to be very similar to an old one. And so but because they're so convincing, you might be tempted to believe them. Listen to your experience. Listen to that. And in a way, your intuition delivers your experience. I don't know if that makes sense. But your old experience would never be activated in your head unless your intuition was literally delivering it to you. So be mindful of patterns. Don't believe them. Or if you want to, give it time. I'm not saying just disregard them right away, but you can absolutely give it time and see what gets revealed, because time reveals everything. And so in closing, it's usually temporary people that usually retest you, so to speak. or they are the messengers that come in and retest you. So you'll see that these are people that you just meet somewhere, you connect, they test you, and then poof, they're out, right? And so that's important. Of course, this can apply to relationship, toxic people, narcissists even, but I found that it's not so much, but it absolutely can. Like an old, you know how it is when people keep dating those same people, whether they're toxic or cold, or so it can apply to that. But today I wanted to focus more on very transient people. And this is a blessing. It's an opportunity. And it's like the universe is saying, here, retest. Here's the test again. Here's your math test from high school. You failed it, but try it again. And it's an opportunity for all of us to pass those tests finally and move on and actually show yourself that you've actually mastered that lesson, that you're done with it. It's absolutely beautiful. And these new people are there to teach us or make us aware of what we didn't learn from the old person, right? And it's an incredible opportunity for growth and for you to practice. It's a practice opportunity to practice those old lessons and finally pass that test. Well, I hope this helped somebody today. Have a good one.